the best men's fragrances for huge compliments. So I've put together a small list of men's fragrances that I think are top tier. You know, they just do well all the time, no matter what. And as always, all the fragrances that I mentioned will be available in the Amazon associate links down in the description below. I'm going to start with one that I think is pretty much the top cream of the crop, whatever you call it. Creed, specifically Absolu Aventus, if you could see, Absolu Aventus. This is really, really nice, especially if you compare it to the original Aventus. The original Aventus obviously is great. It's super popular, great option, but maybe you want something with a little bit more power, a little bit more heft to it than the original Aventus. Then Absolu Aventus is absolutely going to do the trick, because it's obviously very similar to the original Aventus, but it just has some heavier notes to it. And that gives it more staying power, so it's going to last about an hour longer, maybe 2 hours longer. And it's just, I personally at least think that it smells a little bit better than the original Aventus, but it kind of depends, because the original Aventus is fresher, while Absolu Aventus is more on the warmer side, while still being a little bit fresh. So I guess it kind of depends on your preferences, but in general, Absolu Aventus is an extremely attractive men's fragrance, and you can't really go wrong with it. It's very well balanced, and obviously being from Creed, it has that certain quality to it that you cannot beat. So again, Absolu Aventus, really good option, especially if you're looking for more of a special occasion type of fragrance, because Absolu Aventus is definitely more of a special occasion type of fragrance. But maybe you don't want something as expensive as Absolu Aventus, you don't want to go for Creed. Then another really high class, really high quality option that's, very likable. This is Layton from Parfums de Mali. Very luxurious bottle just on its own. This is a great option if you're not afraid of a little bit of sweetness. So this is a kind of spicy sweet type of men's fragrance. It has cardamom and some other spices like that. It's pretty warm. It's more of a cold weather fragrance because it is so warm, but despite that, it's very attractive. The cardamom really gives it that kind of tingling spice to it, and it really has great staying power. This will last probably up to 8 hours on most people, so you won't have to worry about reapplying it. It will really stick to you. But again, it does have that little bit of sweetness thrown in. It's not too crazy, but so, if you are adverse to sweetness, you can kind of skip over this one. But overall, really, really nice. It just has that warm kind of coziness, kind of seductive as well, even a little bit mysterious. And it's from Parfums de Mali, similar to Creed. They're known for their high quality fragrances. So when you do, if you get something from them, you can pretty much guarantee that you're going to get a very high quality fragrance. But maybe you're not into this, you're not into the sweet, spicy sort of thing. Then another one that's very, very masculine, very kind of seductive and mysterious, I would say Ford Tobacco Oud. This is very intense. Not for everybody. If you're looking for something with absolutely no sweetness, kind of dry, very smoky, very woodsy, this is absolutely the deal. This is, I really like it. I just generally like heavy fragrances like this. This is very attractive. If you're looking for an evening fragrance, because this is more of an evening fragrance, that will really stand out, really cut through the crowd, this will do it, because it has incredible strength, almost comparable to some clubbing fragrances, but not as obnoxious. It's smooth, it's firm, it's grounded. It's just nice in general, and I don't know, just the blend of the tobacco and the oud really complements each other. The oud, obviously on its own, is extremely musky, extremely woodsy. You have the tobacco that comes in, very smoky. You put them together, it's just a great combination. But again, not for everybody, because it is really, really strong and very intense, and just really, really in your face. But you don't have to put too much on when you wear this. But it is really nice, if you just put on a more appropriate amount instead of dousing yourself in this. And definitely will get you noticed. Then, maybe this is too intense. You want something with tobacco, but a little bit lighter, then I would say Mancera Red Tobacco. This is a classic. It's tobacco, but it has a little bit of sweetness added to it. It primarily has a vanilla note, which is very, very nice. That's kind of where the sweetness comes from, is the vanilla. It contrasts very nicely with the tobacco, because obviously tobacco is kind of a dry, smoky note. Then you have this sweeter vanilla comes in, mixes with the tobacco. It just creates a nice mixture. The sweetness is kind of on par with the sweetness of Layton. So again, if you're kind of adverse to sweetness, you can be a little bit more cautious about this particular option. But I would say the sweetness here is not too crazy. It's pretty well balanced with the tobacco. So it's still relatively, pretty masculine, very strong also. Longevity here is like 8 to 9 hours, 9 to 10 hours even. So you're going to get a lot of mileage out of this, even if you just put on a few sprays. So you'll definitely, be able to use this up thoroughly. Then, one other one, if you just want a classic, no frills type of fragrance, you don't want to, spend a bunch of money, Valentino Uomo. Classic option, classic designer fragrance. You can't go too wrong with this one. This is primarily a leathery, kind of musky type of fragrance. Has some bergamot and things like that. It's kind of velvety as well. Pretty good staying power. About 7 to 8 hours. Really good evening fragrance or cold weather fragrance. It's a tried and true option. Very popular designer option. So again, if you don't want to go crazy with your budget, you don't want just, a fragrance that you're not sure if you're going to like or not, just go with this one. It's, again, tried and true and tested. Most people enjoy this one. No frills or anything. But that is pretty much my list here of these types of fragrances for men. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, of course, you could leave a like, maybe subscribe, and I make videos like these throughout the week, so stick around for those.